Nope.
And so what is going on? People are setting up systems to do this themselves or using very crude tools. Why are they not making the jump?
So we've been launched 2.5 months. So we do about, on average nowadays, we do about 2 or 3 paid signups per week. And those paid signups are anywhere from $100 to $400 a month. So we're a little bit higher price point.
Yeah.
So we're focused on the developers right now. And frankly, part of the message that got left out, you have to kind of trim with 6 minutes. So part of the message that got left out is that we're actually working on applications to be built on top of our platform. So like alerting, reporting, analytics. So we solved the base use case of dealing with log files and working on log files, searching them, doing MapReduce jobs on them. Applications need to be built on top of this platform to do other things. And we're going to really get a lot of traction when we start getting those applications shipping.
Yeah, that's what I was, because the other question is how big of a business can this be? Can it be a really big business? And is the logging going to become free? And it's all about the extra services on top and getting into the systems operations work.
Yeah.
And becoming a monitoring company, where does this end up?
I mean, we can play in 10 different markets. We can play in operational availability, compliance, security, application availability, application analytics, web analytics, availability of your machines in general, alerting, things like that. So there are a lot of different markets that we can go into. There are some markets that we probably shouldn't go into. Security is one of them. People are concerned about sending their logs that have secure information in them, security-related stuff to us. But there are an awful lot of different types of logs out there. Talked to a guy, he's logging out of wind turbines. 1,000 wind turbines out in the middle of Kansas, all logging in one central location, doing reporting on that. So the short answer is a lot of applications can be written for this on top of the platform. And we make money because of the logs coming into us, but we're going to make money on apps as well.
So have you considered going to the, going to where the applications are being built and offering it through, a Microsoft or an IBM as just one of the services that they offer to developers? I mean, it sounds like a great tool, and I think if you add some of the applications you're talking about in terms of more proactive alerts and monitoring, I mean, it's kind of a universal need. But my thought would be that you could get massive distribution by taking that approach, and you wouldn't really have to go to the individual developers. You go to where they're currently developing.
So who we're targeting right now are actually the platforms, so the development platforms like Python, Node, PHP.NET. So we've gotten our customers writing SDKs for us, so that's like where you can actually code against, if you use Python, that you could code against our APIs with the SDK. And it makes it easier to develop an application around that. And because most of our customers right now are developers, we're focusing on those guys. But you're right, there are companies who have development platforms like Microsoft, like .NET, that could benefit from this as well. But we're in the early stages, right? Still working on products. So we're getting there.
Yeah, well, so Cord already knows that I think Loggly's cool because I think logging is an esoteric random task that actually has a ton of value because everyone needs to do it and nobody does it well. But I do want you to expound a little bit on how you start scaling the business and customer acquisition, because this is a place where you can get deep and loyal and devoted fans, but there's an activation energy required to get them there in terms of how they build, integrate, deploy, start seeing value. So talk to us about how you want to simplify that, shrink that, and kind of get people moving through that acquisition funnel faster.
I mean, initially, at least for the next year, we have this mapped out. So for the initial year, we're focused on developers. So we're focused on like the startup guys that are here and working with them and working on building out the APIs and the functionality of the site and the application. The second phase of that is partnering with people. So partnering with people like EngineYard, GoGrid, right, Rackspace, Amazon, to enable their customers who are also developers to be able to better utilize the service. And then once we start building specific, and we're going to build 3 of these applications this year, but once we start building these specific applications, and we can take those apps and sell into distinct markets, to individual markets. And because the markets we can go after partners in each of those markets. So we could go partner with somebody in the operational availability space. We can go partner with somebody in the PCI compliance space and let them you know, implement the solution for the end user. I hope that sort of answers your question.
What about security? You mentioned that.
Right.
Is this a big hurdle to adoption, getting people to ship their logs and having it go to a cloud service and to a black box and to you guys? Is that, how big of an issue is that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, so take a simple example. Don't ship me your credit card number, right? I don't want it. I mean, those things shouldn't be in your log files anyway, your users' passwords. You guys heard about Sony, poor guys. But I mean, like, they shouldn't be keeping clear text passwords in clear text. You shouldn't log that type of stuff. So security is a big deal. I mean, we're more culpable than most to have to deal with this. So, I mean, we focus on that because of the nature of what we do. But we also are aware that there are going to be customers who simply just can't send us their data. Intuit, for example, could not send us log data. They just couldn't do it.
What about making a non-SaaS version? Have you considered
So we have one. So
What
it's
do you
called Logstash. It's an open source solution for this. So it's an open source, standalone, downloadable, free search engine for your log files. So you can go download it. And there's a bunch of other solutions out there. We tweet about them all the time and talk about them, blog about them.
Systems people are particularly paranoid. So.
Yeah, and it's going to remain that way. There will always be someone who wants to keep their logs, their own data in their own data center and keep it under their own control. So eventually we probably will do a virtual appliance of Loggly at some point. Okay. In the meantime, we have Logstash.
Any other questions, guys?
Do you find that the economics of, well, one assumption about log data is that people do want to keep it now longer and it's ever growing, and so you can you get massive log data sprawl. And if you think about that in the context of having somebody host that for you and own it for you, and then pay on a variable basis as data grows and retention size grows, do you kind of run into price points where you kind of start pricing people out of actually keeping all the data that they want and working on it the way that they want?
There are other solutions out there that are literally cost millions of dollars. So, you know, we have had some customers come in with very high data volumes, and high for us is like 100 gigabytes a day in data, and the pricing on that is pretty high. So we are focused on the lower end, so if you will, the long tail. There are a lot of developers out there who can't afford those expensive solutions, and we're focused on them right now. Eventually, we'll be able to scale to those larger volumes and make it more economical for those users.
Very good, Cord. Well done.
Thank you,
sir.
guys.
Thank you.